Okay, so Angel has some concerns, I guess, with people. So she's for a quarter horse type horse. She's kind of high fear. She doesn't act that way right this minute, but she gets worried about things. She's not so friendly. So one of the things that we can do with her, or several of the things that we can do with her, is work on her energy systems. So, and we already talked about one of the first ones is right here, and this is like for peace and calming. And you guys can do this at home with your own horses, even if you don't know how to run energy. And you know, kind of, you have to go with the reaction what your horse is going to give you. So if they're acting really agitated about it, then maybe you need to quit, you know. So look to see what the response is. And a horse's relaxation, I will point those out as we get them. Every time I work with a horse, I get different responses. One of the common ones is licking and chewing their lips, dropping their head, resting their foot, it's all good relaxation. So with horses, there's certain spots where I can get to those relaxation points easier than others. And we had given you a handout. There's 7 major ones, and then plus also the shoulder ones. So with her, being she has some fear issues, some of the spots that we're going to want to work on is her forehead, her heart area, and also, right here, kind of in her shoulder area is a major energy gateway, I guess you would call it, where if I'm having trouble with an animal, I can go to this one, and there's one on either side, and access that easier. So if I have someone that's injured or has a wild horse that's not comfortable with people at all, I can usually go to this spot, or if I'm not sure where their issue, or if they have pain, or if it's physical or emotional, where it's at, I can use this as a channel, and everything's connected. So if you're familiar at all with acupuncture or pressure, there's, this point is connected to another point. It's just all connected within your body system. So, and the way I work is I can feel it basically in my hands, and the animals at times will give me messages, and I usually feel that in my body as to what concerns they might have. So if someone has a stomach ache or a headache or whatever, I'll feel that in my own body as to what that is. And that's not the case all the time. It's a two-way street. I get that with people too, but it's a two-way street. So if someone doesn't want to share that, then they don't have to share it. And sometimes they do it and they don't realize it. So this isn't like the real exciting part, because there's not like a lot of action going on that you guys can really see. But so maybe I'll go over here and you can see what her facial expression is. So, and that happens, so whatever her reactions are, and like I said, each horse is different at different times. So she was kind of, sometimes they itch, so they feel things too. So sometimes they're itchy, sometimes they feel a tingling. So she kind of was like, a lot of them, especially if they haven't experienced before, they'll lick and chew on my hands, trying to figure out what it is that's going on. We have one horse that I work with, he usually lays down. It's harder to do this on camera in front of people, so. and talk at the same time.
And these are all points where it calms the horse?
What?
And these are all points where it calms the horse?
It's kind of like getting a massage treatment, maybe. You know, and one of Angel's problems is maybe not the right word. She's a thinker. She thinks too much. You know, that may sound familiar with people, but she's really, and I've worked on her before, and I kind of had forgotten that. But right now, like where my hand is right now, is now she's gonna start having enough of this, and I'm talking about it. But she's giving me a lot of what her mind is churning, kind of thing, her worries. So, and what I'm doing is basically trying to help her get rid of those. So that's one of her things that she needs work on. So I'm helping her get rid of those worries so that she can relax. She's always in her head and she's thinking too much. That's why she gets worried about things and about, out and about. And once again, she's greatly improved from, where she started out, definitely. So what I'm helping her do is release this energy that she doesn't need. And then I also help draw relaxation energy, I guess I would call it. And put that in. So there I just got a big, just let loose of a bunch of stuff. So what I do is I combine basically a healing touch along with practical training techniques type thing. We want a horse to want to work with us and want to cooperate with us, and we need to create an environment to help them do that, I guess. So I try and communicate with them on using their language and their terms to some extent, but also, modern day, we need to be able to house them how we need to house them and control them, how we need to be able to control them and handle them. They're a large animal and they can be dangerous.
Without even touching it itself, huh?
No, it's all on an energetic basis, so I can actually do this from across the country. And some horses, Monroe, the big draft horse, he's used to me. I've done a lot of work with him, so I can pretty much stand in one spot, and he will adjust himself. Dogs are a lot the same way too. They'll put themselves under my hands where they want the energy. So I'd like them to be able to move about. And that's kind of like how we talked about before that for a horse to release their emotions, they need to move. So if you're training them or trying to teach them, trying to get them to stand still and they're scared of something, the best thing to do is to let them move, but move in a controlled way. So if you're going to saddle them up for the first time or something and they're scared of it, the best thing for them is to move somewhat. They'll decide to stand when they're ready to. But if you try and the more you try and make them stand, make them lock down, then they're just going to be scared. And if at some point they do submit at that point, that's not necessarily how you want it, because at that point you just killed a little bit of their soul off, I guess, basically. They're submitting because they're scared. It's not a good thing. It's like beating a child or something like that. It's maybe you can get the result you want, but it's not going to be a good connection. It's going to be a better connection if they can move and they decide to stand at that point, because then that's where they've accepted it.